Howdy, boys and girls. It's time for another Jeep Talk Show interview, and we're going to be talking with Greg Henderson of Unofficial Use Only. You should visit his site, unofficialuseonly.com, for a couple of reasons that we're going to get into. But just go over there right now and have a look, and you can see some of the craziness that Greg has planned. Now, if you're watching this after SEMA, then you'll know about the police involvement, helicopter rescue, all the stuff that happened on the cross-country track from, is it Lennon, Michigan?
Yep. Lennon, Michigan.
Lennon, Michigan to SEMA, which is in Las Vegas, Nevada, on a moped, and Greg is actually sitting on the moped. If you're listening to this interview via audio, you got to go over to, you got to go over to YouTube and watch this, because we got full video of what's going on. And I think it's just a more rich environment. And you know what? You can listen on the audio and then just come back and watch the segments on YouTube that you missed, that you wanted to see. At any rate, quite often, Greg's on the show quite a bit. He's actually a host for the show. And I think that's one of the reasons why we don't think about getting him in here for an interview. I wanted to focus specifically on the products that Greg is coming out. If you don't know Greg is a SEMA builder. He builds vehicles for people, generally rich people, or at least they're rich before they do the build, before he does the build. And just absolutely amazing work. I mean, I first found out about Greg on the Pathkiller build that he did. And, Greg, it was one of those things I've told you many times before. It's one of those things where you look at it and you go, I like it, but it's not a Jeep Wrangler JK. There's something different about it, but I couldn't quite place it. And then I finally realized that's an XJ-nose that is on the front of that thing. And I was like, of course. And I think I've mentioned before, I think that should have been what Jeep came out with when they replaced the XJ. They should have come out with something like that, instead of just, going with the Liberty and all this other bullshit that they did when they got rid of the XJ. But it was an absolutely beautiful build. And I actually got to see that in person this year, at EJS. Got to look at it, to touch it in person. And it just absolutely fabulous build. Anyway, so Greg is a SEMA builder. He's built a couple of vehicles for Quadratec. I think probably the biggest one in my mind is the two-door Gladiator, which is just phenomenal. And I think that got some people at Jeep thinking hard about two-door Gladiators before they snapped to their senses.
Well, they had already built one, so they knew that it wasn't in the cards to build it for mass production, because they just wouldn't sell enough. But the best part for me is when Mark Allen, who was at the time lead designer for Jeep, when he saw it in Easter Jeep Safari, he made a comment, and Eric Ammerman was standing there, and I'm still giddy about it, but he said that I did a better job than Jeep did. And that was, that was solidification for me that it was a cool build.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I've said many times OEM-plus. So it's like what the manufacturer would have built if they'd spent a little more time.
Yeah, I just wish I knew what the budget was when they built the blue one, which still cruises around. Jim Allen is driving it around a lot, but I would love to know what the budget was when they built theirs versus how much it cost me to build it, because I'll bet you I did it for a quarter of the price. Oh,
I bet you did. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like having government funding, right? It's always going to be more expensive if the government's paying for it.
Yeah, I need government funding.
Yeah, and I actually got to see the JTE at EJS as well. So very much worth seeing that. And of course, the YJL build, which is also a very nice build. I've never seen that one in person, but it's phenomenal. You just build artwork. But like I said, it's OEM-plus.
And that one, the YJL, I actually like it more.
I know you do. Yeah.
Like if I had my choice of all the vehicles I've ever built to own again, I would own the YJL. I would own Pathkiller, and then there's a TJ that I would own, or actually two TJs that I would own. One's called Mar1, and then one is the first TJ I ever owned and built. But yeah, the YJL is definitely one of my favorites, and it's got, people call them Easter eggs. But there's so many Easter eggs on the YJL that most people don't even realize, because Quadratec I don't think has ever done a phenomenal job of spreading that one out there, and they don't show it very much because it doesn't fit a lot of, bolt-on products anymore. But the YJL, it is a JL with a straight 6 and a YJ dash and a YJ wiring harness. In fact, it's the only JL in the world with a straight 6. So to me, it's extra cool that way.
Yeah, it really is. And I remember I've asked you this before, and I don't remember what the answer was. I think it wasn't practical, or they didn't want to do it. Leaf springs, like the YJs had. Yeah, I was surprised you didn't go with leaf springs.
Well, originally we were going to. In fact, Eric and I really wanted to do leaf springs, but Ted, or T3, the owner of Quadratech,
Bad bastard.
He had driven, he had grown up in a YJ and he owned a YJ, and he didn't want it to ride like a YJ. And I tried to explain that I would have custom leaf packs built. I wouldn't use just over the counter, and I could make it ride like a new car, but he didn't want it. And then through their marketing channels, they decided to do the TerraFlex long arm, which for me was another knock, because there's no reason to put a long arm on a JL that only has 37-inch tires. So
right.
I think in the end it rides and handles worse than it would have if we would have just left it stock, or even let me develop the leaf spring suspension. But either way, it's still a beautiful build, and I'd still love to own it.
So, it is absolutely gorgeous. And this is going to tie into one of the products that you're coming out with. Now, I was really excited whenever I found out that Unofficial Use Only was going to be selling products, stuff that you could put on your Jeep. And because you do phenomenal work in building these vehicles, but it's a onesie, twosie type thing. I mean, sometimes you have more than one vehicle that you're working on. And
right.
You can only make a finite amount of money doing that. Obviously, the way to make lots of money is, it's like being a pimp or a hooker. If you're a hooker, you only get paid for each job. But if you're a pimp, you get paid from all the hookers. So this is what this is what
nice analogy.
This is what we're doing, or what you're going to be doing with selling these parts, because you're going to make multiples of them and sell each one of them. So it has a whole host of issues that I'm sure that you don't like, because it's out of your control. At least whenever you're working on a vehicle, the whole thing's under your control. I mean, as long as you can get the parts, as long as you can get the stuff, it's under your control. So one of the first things that you started with, and I don't know that this is the first thing that came to mind. Actually, that's a good question. Was this a first thing that you thought of developing from Unofficial Use Only to sell to folks?
No, surprisingly, years ago, I decided to come up with some ideas for some what I call trash and trinkets. So very inexpensive things that are helpful. And I came up with upfitter tie downs, which I have 5,000 of them. I've just never sold them. But it's an attachment system that works with any open top vehicle, so any Wrangler. And it attaches to the hardware that attaches the hardware, the top down. You can also put it anywhere else there's a bolt, and it gives you secure locations to put ratchet straps. And I designed and developed these things, and I call them upfitter tie downs. But they're very simplistic, very cheap, very inexpensive. In fact, if we put them on the website, which we're talking about doing, I think it'll be less than, it'll be like a $30 purchase. Right? So very inexpensive. Everybody can buy it, but it gives you secure locations to attach things, so that, when you're off-road or in a rollover, or you just need to carry more stuff, especially with the overlanding theme, you have secure locations to attach things. And I should put those up eventually. I'm just trying to get the price breakdown so I know exactly how much it'll cost to put them in a bag, but I'd like them to be less than $30. Originally, it was less than $20. And this goes how long I've been working on it. Before COVID and before all the inflation we've seen in the last few years, I developed this, and it was going to be less than a $20 bill. So I was thinking like $19.99, right? Mm-hmm. Because everybody can afford a $20 bill. Shit, you go to McDonald's and it costs you that today. So the downfall is the hardware. So the nuts and the bolts and the screws and the little laser cut bracket now cost a lot more than they did 5 years ago. So I think it's going to be almost $30 now instead of 20. But that was one of the first. And then we designed some brackets for a Gladiator so that you could put a rack on it without affecting your bed.
Mm-hmm.
And never went to market with those. I still have the designs. They're very simplistic. It would be a relatively inexpensive thing. It'd probably be one of the cheapest ways to put a rack on your Gladiator. But everybody tries to build this big over-the-top stuff, and then it costs you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So I wanted to come up with a really simple way, and we did that in the first 2 months of Gladiator production. And again, it's a part that never was unveiled. Even back to Pathkiller. When I designed Pathkiller, I designed that front end as a bolt-on, so as something that could be retrofit.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so that can actually be retrofit to any JK, and with a very small modification, it can be retrofit to any JL. The problem is, on that front end, I actually went to a few different manufacturers and tried to price out what it was going to cost to stamp those parts in steel right here in America. And it's a bevy of parts. So it's an inner and outer hood, it's inner and outer fenders, and it's a core support. So after talking with this low volume stamper, which would have been the best pricing I could possibly get, it would have been about $500,000 in tooling to make that into a kit. And I just, I work every day for a living. Look, I can't even afford shoes. So I couldn't afford to bring that to market. And there's been multiple other ideas over the years of coming up with something, but my limitation was always funding. I don't have money. I don't have a lot of money, like most every American that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been the best businessman in the world, but I'm trying to learn. And up until very recently, I had never gotten a loan for anything, right? The only loan I ever had was my house. Everything else I've always paid cash for. All of my tools, all of my equipment, everything I own, I never leased or rented or got a loan for anything. I always just paid cash for it so that I owned it. Because I found that was usually cheaper. The problem is building up the cash to buy something is the harder part.
Oh yeah.
So, I had never gone down the, people call it OPM, which is other people's money. I've never used other people's money before. And, and that's getting a loan or having an investor or whatever it is, that's using other people's money. And I'd never done that until now. And it's daunting and it's scary because I feel like I owe people, right? Which I do. Even the door pockets, which we just launched in the last, I don't know how many weeks ago it was now, 6 weeks. To do that, to have those molds made and the tools made to manufacture those parts was almost the cost of my house, right? It's more money than I would have ever assumed, right? So this little piece of plastic right here, to make this in the USA and its counterparts, I think the tooling was, $140,000. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And, I partnered with a company to make these. And so every time one of these gets sold, I'm not putting money in my pocket, right? Like a lot of people don't realize that. Even other businessmen, some of them know, but other ones, they're like, oh, well, as soon as you sell so many, you're going to be just rolling in cash. Well, no, I'm not, because I have partners. So when one of these gets sold at retail, right now I don't put anything in my pocket. I haven't made a penny yet. We've been selling these for 6 weeks or however many weeks it is. And I haven't made a penny. I probably won't make a penny until sometime next year.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting a lot of effort in and a lot of funding in up front, hoping on the back end you'll get a return. Now, we did try and do, just like you said earlier, OEM-plus. So we wanted it to be as good, if not better, than what the OEM is capable of. So everything's made and manufactured right here in Michigan in the USA. All American workers keeping their jobs and putting food on their table. But it's the exact same. So these are the door pockets. This is the exact same plastic as your factory door on all of your JL models. It has the same graining that's in your factory door, and it attaches just like factory. So when you buy it as an aftermarket part, we're using push nuts. So you drill out the welds and the plastic welds, and you put push nuts on, which hold it in place.
And it's just it's just pressing it on plastic, the little plastic pegs that are on there. You just press it on there, so there's no screwing, there's no anything to it, but just you use a socket, or really you can use anything, but you can just use a socket and press that thing on there. It's a press fit. The hardest part is getting the door panel off that Jeep put on.
And honestly, there's some people out there who say, oh, you don't have to take the door panel all the way off. It's just as easy. No, it's not.
No.
There's some guys on the Jeep Talk Show who did it, and the first door took them 25 minutes, and all the rest of the doors took them 12. Once you do it, it's much easier, it's much safer, it's much cleaner to just take the door panel off. You can do your whole car in under an hour if you're going after it, and that's the first time you've ever done it. We're putting right on the instructions that we recommended. It's a 2-hour install time, just to cover
conservative
people who are being very, very careful, and new people. But the bonus is, and what a lot of people don't realize, we're using push nuts in the aftermarket kit. However, if Stellantis were to say, we love those so much, we want to put them on the factory vehicles, we could deliver these to the manufacturing company, and our design is the same heat stake, so they could actually heat weld these to the doors, just like the factory ones. So it would change zero tooling on their end if they wanted to add them.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And the engineering behind that, Liam did just an exceptional job. But it really is. It's OEM-plus, right? And
let me just mention really quick, that's the back door pocket.
Yeah, this is the back door.
Yeah. So people are saying that won't fit my Jeep. It's way too small. Like, it's the back doors for the 4-door Jeeps.
Yep, this one's for the back doors, for the 4 doors. And the reason I was holding this one up first, it has this Molly built into it. Mm-hmm. And we're also coming out with these with JK. So very soon we're going to announce the JK ones, and the JK will also have the same Molly. And there's more than one reason. One, it's aesthetically pleasing, and people like the Molly. Even Jeep put it on the back.
Tactical.
Back of the,
yeah.
Tactical. But we decided to up the game of this, and another product that we're launching very soon, probably within the next couple weeks, is something that I'm using here. So these cup holders, and it's just a cup holder, but it has on the back of it a thing that we call Twisted Molly Lock. And that allows you to put it into any Molly. It works with JCR's Molly. It works with Rockslide Engineers Molly, because Molly is actually a nominal figure that most people use the same size hole.
Right.
But you just take that, you put it into the Molly, you twist it, and it locks in place. And now you have a bonus cup holder. And on this Honda Ruckus that I'm sitting on, I actually modified the cowl section, or the spot that covers the battery and the computers in there. But because we're going to ride these from 2,400 miles across the country, I decided I wanted a cup holder. So I took my Twisted Molly Lock cup holder to prove that it's not just for my doors. I cut the little square hole into the plastic of the fairing, and now I have a fully functional cup holder on my Honda Ruckus for when I'm cruising across the country.
So I want to hear about this when you get done, assuming you survive this trip. I want to hear about how many people go, that's cool, where did you get that? And you have to say, oh, that's mine. That's something that you can buy from my site.
Yeah, and I was even looking like I just picked up a Humvee, and staring at the Humvee, I'm like, oh, there's 4 or 5 spots because there are no cup holders in a Humvee,
Of course not.
and a lot of old cars. So I was looking, I'm like, oh, there's like multiple spots where I can cut that little tiny square and click in a cup holder. But yeah, so the last few days at night, I've just been making modifications to the Ruckus because it's going to be a long trip. I put new tires on it. I did a few other things, but I added a cigarette lighter so that I can charge phones, and I made sure to do the ejecto cuz button.
Well, it's going to be a cold ride. You need warmth wherever you can get it. So let's get back to the ride here in a minute. I want to talk to you more about the door pockets. Here's
the front door. Just
thank you.
We talked about the rear.
Yep.
So this is what the front actually looks like.
And this is the bottom part, but he has it on the door, and you cannot differentiate between the door pocket that's on there and the door. This is the thing that's so amazing to me. It people won't notice it. You'll have to point it out to them, or they'll have to say, "Oh, my door has really saggy nets," and then you fling your door open and go, "Oh yeah, I fixed that."
Right. And this is all dusty because it's a shop sample, but this shows, right? So even on your 2024s with the electric seats, this clears. So this doesn't interfere with the electric seats, which a lot of other ones do. There's not a lot of space here because of the seats, but this is very flexible, and it's hard to show.
Yeah, there's a gap there where you could put like a cell phone, and I think you even have some things in there to keep the cell phone from sliding around, don't you?
Yeah, there's an indent right here, so if you put your phone in there, it can't slide around. But this is, and I'll show it again, it's flexible, right? You can shove a lot more stuff in there than you think. And it has an integrated cup holder at the front of the door. We moved it all the way forward so that it's not in the way of the seat.
Yeah, I think it was Jeep Sheep. Yeah, I think it was Jeep Sheep that on his YouTube video, he put a lot of weight on that door pocket to see how much it would hold, and it held all the weight. I think he got it up to 41 pounds. And the important thing was when he took it off there, it goes back to where it was. It's not like something when you expand the net on the factory door pocket, how it just gets big and out of shape. And how embarrassing is it when you close the door and your net is showing? Sir, your net is showing.
Or tripping. And if we show you the back side of the door, so this is how we attach it. So these little push nuts, you drill out the factory spot welds, and then you just put these little push nuts on, and that's what secures it. And then it looks just like factory on the front side.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, I've got a set here. I haven't installed them yet, and it's stunning. I had to call Greg and tell him just how great they looked. I mean, it's not that he didn't already know, but I love hearing compliments on things that I create, so I wanted to share it with Greg. It's just very, very nice. It's a great idea. I think you've hit it out of the park on your first item. You did kind of gloss over the JK, because I know a lot of JK owners, especially on the Jeep Talk Show, especially on the Roundtable, have said, "Is it available for JK? Is it available for JK?" 100 times. And that's coming to fruition here very, very soon. I think you mentioned, did you give a time frame on that as far as when you think it might actually start be available or in production, or did you want to say? I don't want you to say if you're not comfortable telling the time.
No, I don't have a problem. I like being honest with people. So the JL took a lot longer than expected because I didn't understand the manufacturing process and all of the steps to it. So we unveiled the prototypes at SEMA, and we didn't start shipping until just a few, almost 2 months ago, month and a half to almost 2 months ago. The JK is still in development. I think we're within a week of final sign off when I finally say, okay, the design is where it needs to be. I will say in the last 5 weeks, we have had probably 60 iterations.
Wow.
So 60 changes. So, we had the very first one that was thought up that fit, and we have probably made changes 60 times. and for multiple reasons, whether it be aesthetic or just giving a little bit more clearance or a little bit more space. And we followed a lot of the comments from the JL, because some people said that the cup holder at the front, if they were very tall or if they wanted to camp in the back of their Jeep, they couldn't put their seat all the way forward and all the way up. So, or it would rub their leg just a little bit, their leg would touch it. So we used all of those things, and we changed the design over and over and over until we're kind of happy with it. I moved where the molly is. Instead of the molly being at the back side, we moved it to the front side. It should be, hold on, somebody's trying to call me. In the end, the way that it looks now, they had the engineers had a couple small little design changes because I wanted it to flow with the door a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So probably within a week, is my guess right now, is I'm going to sign off on the design. As soon as I sign off on the design, the tool shop is going to start cutting the tool. We already bought the aluminum blanks, so the big giant blocks of aluminum that are half the size of that car. So those are already there. They've already been cut in half. They're just waiting to get the design cut into it.
Yeah, the final.
So if everything goes really smooth and really flawless, they would actually, there's a high probability that we could have actual door pockets up for order by Christmas.
Just in time for Christmas.
Right. So, and that's if everything is perfect. But
like it was for the LJJT door pockets. You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. And that took a lot longer. So I know some people want me to say that they'll be ready for Christmas. I'm just not going to say it.
Of course they want you to, because sooner is always better. You got to have it now. But the
Right.
beautiful thing here is, and I want to point this out because Greg won't point it out. This is the kind of work Greg does on the vehicles that he builds, doing the OEM-plus thing, building the vehicles better than what the factory built them. So the same detail is going into these products. I mean, the neat thing is, once you get it right, it can be pressed and created, and it should pass muster. The Greg Henderson muster, the Greg Henderson quality control, it should pass your QC. Stamp after stamp after stamp, and a lot of people get to enjoy some of the stuff that you create that wouldn't otherwise be able to afford the work that you do, because they don't have $100,000, they don't have $200,000 for you to build them a Jeep or any vehicle. So this is an opportunity.
And you'd be pretty surprised. Like I get a lot of customers who call and they, or send an email and they say that they're like, well, I love your work, but I don't think I can afford you. I haven't been the best businessman, so I charge a lot less than most people think. I've been told I should charge more than double what I actually charge.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And I just can't bring myself to do it, right? I'm a real guy. I'm a real Jeeper. If I charged more, I could do way more, because I could hire a couple more competent guys. The last couple of years, it's been myself, and I had Captain Redbeard and my son, and now it's just me and my son. I don't have Captain Redbeard anymore. So he wanted to learn the painting process, and I love Captain Redbeard to death, but he wanted to learn the painting process. I don't have the facility or the ability to teach him that. He knew enough about suspension and body work and reshaping metal to be a pretty damn dangerous individual in those regards. So now he's taking it to the next level. He wanted to learn paint. So I hold no ill will that he moved on to learn more stuff. But if I charged more, yeah, I could hire another person or two and we could build more cars. But I like the fact that I'm intimately involved with everyone. So like this thing behind me, it's been a cherished part of the shop for years now. This thing we took all the way down every nut and bolt, every screw. We even took the rivets out of the frame and took the frame
My
apart and then
goodness.
rebuilt it.
Mm-hmm.
So literally every piece of wire, every nut and bolt, every screw, this whole car behind me was off and apart multiple times. I think the body was on and off this chassis 30 sometimes. And now it's gorgeous, right? It's got ultimate Dana 60s front and rear that have been changed and moved and are now on leaf springs. The leaf springs are custom made leaf springs just for the vehicle. It's got an Atlas and a doubler and a 5.7 Hemi, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I would daily drive this every day for the rest of my life if I could afford it. But
Well,
I can't.
well, Greg, that's coming. And speaking of affording it, we did not talk about the price for the door pockets, because that's what I was working up to. You get all this wonderful work and quality that Greg does, and tell the people what the door pockets cost.
So if you go on our website, unofficialuseonly.com, the door pockets for every model JL, you get a full set of 4, which is all 4 doors. You can get just the fronts or just the rears, but if you get a full set, it's $150. So, and the way that I price that, even though we did all the engineering and all the development and everything else, and I personally think it's the best option out there on the market today, but there are other options. And the way that I priced them, these people told me I should sell them in the $300 to $350 range.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree.
They told me that was the market. And so I looked at the market and we looked at everything that was out there, and you can spend over $300 on some press brake aluminum, in my mind, garbage, because it won't even work with the 2024s, that screw into your factory plastic.
Yeah, from the outside. Easy install.
Over the top. Some of them are even over the top of your nets.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So, but if you go on some of those websites, and I'm not knocking their product, I'm just saying I think mine's better. But they came up with a good idea. They executed it. It's press brake aluminum. Some of them have moly. Some of them have different shapes. But you can spend over $300 for aluminum ones that won't do the same thing mine do. Like Jeep Sheep TV, he tested mine to 41 pounds. And the reason he stopped at 41 pounds is he ran out of weight.
Yeah.
I would guarantee, 100% guarantee, if you did the exact same test on one of those aluminum panels, it would fail. It would bend and deform,
or just pull out because of the way it was installed.
Yeah, it might just pull
I don't know
out.
if everybody noticed or not. Did you see the number of connection points on the back of the door? I mean, there's a god awful amount of them. I mean, it's equal to it's equal to the amount that Jeep had the saggy nets attached to the back of the door. So there's so many connection points, and that's going to make it stronger. It's not going to warp.
On the rear door, it connects in 14 spots. On the front door, it's like 17 spots. But there's a lot of connection points. But
it's over engineered. That's what I keep saying. It's OEM-plus. This is the quality that you get for this stuff. I mean, it's phenomenal. I'm so happy that I got them, and I did the pre-order, so I didn't even have to spend $150. And I got free shipping.
And if you, so like the cup holder, when it comes out, which is this little guy, it's gone through the same thing. The reason it's not for sale today, this one that's in my hand, the manufacturing facility, they grained it, they did everything. They actually made 150 of them, and they shipped them to me and said, "Are these good?" Normally with first shot, they only make like 20, but they made 150. I was going to say 150
is amazing.
Well, they made 150. They thought that they were done. And
oh no.
As soon as I grabbed it, right, it's flexible. It's not as flexible, so I wanted to change the durometer by 5 points, which is very small. So this is a durometer of 85, and I wanted a durometer of 80. I want it just a little softer.
Right.
But the grain, the outside texture of it, and you probably can't see it on the camera, but if I pull this up, it's nice. It's like a
it's
sandblasted
beautiful.
finish.
Yeah.
But I want it to be a little more resilient. I want a little bit more grain on it, so it looks a little bit more factory.
Right. A little more Jeepy.
Right. This to me looks great, but it's not good enough. So we sent the tool back out to get grained again with a slightly heavier grain, and we're going to do it again. But these are, like I say, they're completely
I've never
flexible.
seen the ones that were actually pressed. The one I've always seen is the one that was 3D printed, so I could see the lines in the 3D print.
Yeah, you can't see any lines in this. And then it's hard to see. I don't know if there's any way I can show it, but no. Inside of it, the logo is pressed into the bottom of it. And then you can see, so those are drain holes. So if you have
you have to have that, yes.
Yeah, if you've got a cold beverage and it's sweating, you want drain holes. If your kid spills his Capri Sun. And another fun one, we tested it. These are machine washable. You can throw these in your dishwasher.
Nice. Perfect.
And they don't get all janky or deformed.
I could imagine this going through, the wife making you clean it because your dog threw up in it. And,
right.
You're going through all the process of trying to get that thing clean. And boy, if you can just throw it in the dishwasher, that's wonderful. And I'll mention really quick, it's flexible so it can handle different size beverage cans.
It's like the analogy you made earlier. It's a stripper, right? So it has to be flexible so that it can accept any size load. So it'll fit from
it's easy to clean because it has drain holes.
Yeah, so it'll fit from your normal beverage, which would be like a soda or a pop can. We call them pop here in Michigan, but some places call it soda, other places call it Coke. Yep. But it fits from your normal can all the way to the wife's big fat. What do they use now? It's not a Yeti. It's
Stanley.
Stanley.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll even fit all of your normal Stanleys fit inside of it.
Yeah, and I'll mention this is for the rear door pockets.
Well, it's for the rear door pockets for the JK or for the JL. It will fit all front and rear door pockets in JK.
Oh, you bastard! You had to make it better for the JK.
Yep, and it does fit. Like I said, the other Molly out there. So JCR makes Molly panels for all over your Jeep all the way down to your XJ. Rockslide Engineering makes Molly panels for all of your models of Jeeps. This fits all of their Molly. So you don't have to just buy it to work on our door panels. It works in a multitude of door panels.
Well, it gives you options too. If you don't want to put your drink where, the rear door pocket, you want to put it up front or over here, or over there. It just gives you options. And that's the beauty of Molly, is that it gives you those options and it's universal. So.
Right. And then as a side bonus, the cup holder is the cup holder. The twisted Molly lock is its own entity. So you could actually buy just the twisted Molly lock. We'll have that on the website at some point, where you can buy just the twisted Molly lock and you could put it on your favorite
pew holder.
Your favorite long range hole puncher.
Yes.
Or you could put it on a first aid kit or a small tool kit and click it onto, so that you had very easy access, very quick to get on your Molly applications. And the weight limit that it holds is pretty obnoxious. So we tested it in a cup holder with a 3D printed part before we actually made the quality parts. And with a 3D printed part, it held way more than 40 pounds. I think with the new one, it'll hold even more. So not that you should hang, 60 pounds of stuff off of it, but the reason that's important is if it'll hold, let's say 50 pounds. Then when you put your 1 pound item on it, it's secure. You know it's not just going to fall off.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to put it to its limit because eventually we'll have to, I guess, come up with a working load and a fail load.
A disclaimer and
right.
all the other crap that goes along with it. I just want to point this out. So what you get is something that's OEM-plus. It is all this stuff has been done and thought about and figured out, or you can get something that's aluminum that has holes cut in it that you screw onto the door. I mean, if it's a rock bouncer rig and you want that kind of stuff on there, hey, maybe so, maybe that's the way to go. But if you like the aesthetics of your JL or JT and you want to maintain those aesthetics and have something that's better than what the factory put in there, and you literally, unless you're looking, this is very common for Greg's builds, unless you're knowledgeable and unless you're like, that there's door pockets, maybe you have problems with saggy nets, and then you open up the door, you're not going to notice these door pockets because they blend in so well. And that means a lot to me, that it's something that it's form and function. It looks good and it does a damn good job. That's the way I like to build my Jeeps. I like to keep them nice looking, but also to be able to go where I want to go with them. So, and that's what this does. Now, $150 for the front door pockets and the rear door pockets. It's a hell of a deal.
Well, and you can, they're not only available at, I would love everybody to buy them at unofficialuseonly.com, but Northridge sells them as well. So if you have a discount code from the Jeep Talk Show, you can go on Northridge and you can purchase them there too. They have them in stock. He's placed, in the last few weeks, he's placed a couple big orders, and yeah, they're available on his website, and the JK ones will be too. In fact, he'll be the first place you can get the JK ones, because he's committed to putting in a PO to get the very first JK ones off the assembly line. So,
I think the JKs are going to be absolutely really good performer for you, because everybody and their mama is like, okay, when JK, like I said earlier, it's like, okay, that's great. I don't have a JL. I don't have a JT. I need one for the JK. And so they're geared up for it. They're wound up for it.
Yeah, and it surprises me that so many people are interested in JK, because the JK door pocket market is very flooded. You can go on Amazon and you can get plastic door pocket click-in ones for like $30.
I wasn't going to buy a door pocket. I have no reason to buy a door pocket for my Gladiator. I don't use the door pockets, but whenever you came out with these things, and I know the work that you do, and I wasn't disappointed. So I have door pockets for my Gladiator that are absolutely gorgeous and are going to last the lifetime of the vehicle. My words, not yours, because you may not feel comfortable saying that, but that's my belief, just based on seeing these things and holding them in my hot little hands. Well,
honestly, because we're using the same plastic and we're using the same injection mold type setup, and we're using the same color. I mean, everything about it is identical to your factory door. So because of that, I can confidently say that it will outlast the factory door, because your factory door is older than my parts.
30 years from now, somebody's going to be in a junkyard and they're going to be going through some Jeeps, and they're going to find these door pockets and go, what the hell is this? This is amazing.
Hopefully 30 years from now, they'll find a JL or a JT in a junkyard, and they'll pull the door apart and they'll be like, oh, this one's awesome. It's got the unofficial use only door pockets. Man, so glad
you
haven't been able to buy these, and you haven't been able to buy these in 15 years. Yeah, I'm so happy I got a set.
Ever since Greg went to prison, we weren't able to buy these. No,
that was way before I started my business.
Anyway, I really just can't say enough about these things. And I think everybody knows that if I think it's bullshit, I'll tell you it's bullshit. I love these things. Greg's been giving me a hard time about when you're going to install them. I like having them next to my bed so I can tell them good night right before I go to sleep. Yeah, I'm
you want, Tony, if you want, I actually brought home the first shots and the second shots. So I brought home the prototype sets that came off the mold. If you want, I'll send you some, and you can just screw them to the wall above your bed. And then you'll have an art piece and the ones you can put in your Jeep.
Actually, David Adams needs those set for his wall with all the grills and stuff.
Well, so I told David, because we're launching the YJL grill slowly but surely. We're launching it.
Of course.
We're taking pre-orders, and once we get to, on the website it says 75. Once we sell 75 pre-orders, we will kick the tool off. And David and I have already talked, but he will get the first shot.
Excellent.
So the very first one that comes off the machine that is before final shot. So when they make the tool, the first time they run the tool, they call it first shot. So it's the first time the tool actually works. And then you figure out from that point how much pressure the tool needs to put in, how much the pressure the liquid plastic has to go in, and the flow rates and all that. So that's the first shot. That's kind of where they learn how to inject the plastic properly. But David's going to get the very first one to put on his wall.
Mm-hmm. And I'll just remind everybody real quick. People are going, David Adams, Dave Adams, who is this? So David is the gimpy Jeep guy. He is a paraplegic. I don't say he's a paraplegic. He has a genetic disorder that makes it difficult for him to move around, but it does not keep him from going off-road. And actually, he lives, Sand Hollow, Utah. So he goes off-road a lot, and he has a huge collection of Jeep grills in his shop. You can go to episode 1025 to listen to that interview with David, which is, I think, Greg, you were actually the guy that put us in touch with David to get him on the show. All right, so
David's exceptional.
We're spending a lot of time talking about these door pockets, and one of the reasons why is I'm just so excited about them. I think it's wonderful. I think you're going to do very well with them. And I'm looking forward to not having to worry about it, but just enjoying your success and selling these. So I forgot I did want to talk about the YJL grill, and basically it is a grill licensed. You have this license through Jeep. I don't know if that's the right way of saying it or not. You have permission to make it through Jeep. Jeep will give you permission, and it's the only Jeep grill that they've authorized for somebody else to make. Is that correct?
Almost correct. So we've worked with the licensing team for quite some time. So I was very, very fortunate. Mark Allen and Jim Morrison both authorized it. Neither one of them are with the company anymore, but
I was going to say that's why I got Jim fired, wasn't it?
But both of those guys were, they authorized it at the time. The licensing team was good. We've gone through almost all of the process of licensing. So we were told that we could have a license, but the final paperwork isn't inked yet. So when it's all said and done, I'm still sticking to the point that they're going to honor their original commitment, and it will be the only officially licensed aftermarket Jeep grill. But until the ink is dry, I won't say that out loud.
Yeah, no, I understand. So the cool thing is that you can do square headlights, which are really not really square, but people are simple. They need to hear simple words. It's the same headlights that were used in the YJ and in the XJ. I think that's all of them, right? So, and this is not going to be just the grill. It's going to be the grill, the headlight buckets. So everything you need with the exception of lights, right? You're not going to be selling lights with it.
We've been ballparking that idea if we should sell the lights or just tell people, what works. We'll probably put a couple SKUs on the website.
That's not a bad idea, but there's so many lights out there. The headlight market is huge. And
the headlight market is absolutely flooded. So we were actually looking yesterday, and there's over 100 different brands of 5x7 square headlights that you can get. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to keep it real simple. I'm going to do truck light because they're made right in Pennsylvania. It's a 100% U.S. company. They're DOT approved. I think they're the best LEDs you can get, but for a headlight option today. So I'm going to offer truck lights, and then I'm going to offer just your standard halogen regular glass sealed beams.
Sure.
And with those two options, you have an LED option, you have a normal option, the wiring for both. And then after that, sky's the limit. The customer can choose whatever they want. They don't have to buy headlights from me. But the grill will be the grill and the headlight buckets so that you can put everything necessary that you need to put in a square headlight into your Jeep. And I think install time, the last one we did was the last one we physically installed was the prototype that was on the Jurassic Jeep at SEMA last year in the Catskin booth. And that grill with headlights took less than 15 minutes to install.
Oh, I figured, because they just snap in. And this is for the JL and the JT. And so it gives you the ability to make your Jeep a little different from everybody else's, which we all love. And also,
and it's not angry.
Yeah, that's not angry. It's not angry eyes. So
and it's,
it's because not beast mode.
And because just like everything else that's OEM-plus, we're doing it, in the same style. So it will be made with the exact same polypropylene that your factory grill is made out of. Everything is the same. So technically it won't even affect your crash test rating, right? It doesn't change anything about the mounting or the structure of the front of your vehicle incurring that kind of damage.
So whenever you get an incoming call, the audio drops out. So keep that in mind whenever you're, it misses whenever when it's ringing, it drops the audio.
Yeah. So you won't have to worry about, it doesn't change the crash test of your car. It's also completely reversible. So it takes 15 minutes to install. It takes 15 minutes to change it back. So if you have a lease and you want to put that custom grill on,
yes,
you can. And then when your lease is up, you can just take 15 minutes to change it back to factory before you turn that car in and get your next one.
Oh, and you're 15 minutes from dropping the lease car off, and you go, damn it, I forgot my grill, and then you have to go back. Right. So the cool thing about this is, especially with the sealed beams, the like the original headlights, if it's kind of dark outside and you're approaching somebody and they see the square headlights and they're kind of yellowish and dim, they're going to think it's a YJ coming at them. Wow, where did you get that? So I think it's a great idea. And also, too, you mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to reiterate this. They are currently available for pre-order on unofficialuseonly.com right now.
Yeah, so basically, we're using our own platform, like our own Kickstarter. So instead of using Kickstarter or something else and letting them take a big portion of it, we were able to price it. It's 20% cheaper than we think retail will be. It's on our website. It's for sale for pre-order. You go in, you drop your $500 or whatever it is. I forget the exact dollar amount. However, it's 100% refundable. In fact, last week we refunded somebody. So somebody decided they purchased the pre-order. They decided, whatever changed in their life and they couldn't have it. So I sent them their money back. So it's 100% refundable. But yeah, until we get that magic number of 75 pre-orders, we're not going to make it. So anybody that's interested, if you think it's a cool look, if you think it's better, again, it's 100% refundable, but I can't kick off that tool until I get those pre-orders, because I'm not going to put a third mortgage on my house.
Yeah, no, I think it's a moot point. I'm sure you're going to get the 75 orders on this. So just understand, you get your money back if it doesn't go to press, literally. And so it's just to get in there. If you're interested in having this thing, get over there, do the pre-order, save some money, and get a grill that gives your Jeep a very, very unique look. And I will say this, it is the one on the site is painted the color match to the Jeep. These do not come color matched. It's up to you.
Yeah, they'll come black, just like a factory grill would if you bought it at the dealership. It just comes black. You have to take it to your painter and have it painted. We're not going to do color matching because it's too hard. But the reason that I stress, it's a money back, 100% refundable, is after SEMA, we actually had them set up for pre-order at $0 on the website just to see if there was interest. Mm-hmm. Once we deemed there was enough interest, because we had well over 300 people sign up for pre-orders at $0. As soon as we put a dollar amount to it, once we started figuring out what the tool was going to cost, I think we've got 12 or 13 pre-orders when we need 75.
Yeah.
So the 300 people didn't all back up. We sent an email to every one of them, but they didn't all belly up to the bar and say, okay, here's some money. But I need that money to kick off the tool.
Right.
So if I can't...
and I'm not going to tell you about marketing. You probably know this, or you got people that have told you this. I'd send that email out again and remind people, because
Right.
sometimes they need multiple reminders. Like they really did want to do it. They just read the email. They were busy. They were going to get back to it, and they didn't. So
Right.
the last thing I want to talk to you about as far as what's coming from your store, and guys, I apologize. I definitely wanted to talk about this trip more, but we're going to get to that in just a second. Is the bumper? You have a bumper. This is also originally from the YJL that you built, correct? And it is a very it's a bumper. It's a Jeep bumper. It's very simple. There's not anything that's I mean, I say it's simple. It looks simple. It's more complex than it looks, but it's like the ones you see that have the 2x6s bolted on the front of their Chevy trucks and stuff. It's a bumper. It does what it needs to do, but it can hold a winch. And this is also a pre-order item, right?
Yeah, that's pre-order, but we're literally I'm trying to remember which level it is. I think it's Rev 4 is actually getting powder coated today. So we're testing a powder coater because we want to make sure that we're going to get the quality we want. So the bumpers, they're being manufactured right here in Michigan. It's 100% U.S. steel, U.S. made and manufactured right here in Michigan. So it gets lasered, it gets stamped, everything is done here. It has an integrated winch plate, integrated tow hooks, and the end caps are removable. So the base design is the same design that you would have seen on a YJ or TJ. So the YJ and TJ bumpers had that, they were very simplistic, straight bar, and they had removable plastic end caps. Well, my end caps aren't plastic, they're solid steel, but they are removable. And bolted on or off, it doesn't change crash test. In fact, crash test is a problem because this is 1/4-inch plate with internal gusseting.
It's not crash test issues for you. It's crash test for the people that you run into or run into you.
Correct. Now we did integrate it right to the factory frame horns. So if you get in an accident with another automobile, your frame can still crumple. So the crumple zone in your frame, we did not delete it, but the bumper is very stout.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I would be willing to say if you got in your average accident, you could take it off the frame and put it on your new Jeep, and the bumper wouldn't be damaged other than the coating.
The way bumper should be, yeah.
Right, but it's we're going a little more exceptional than most bumpers. Most companies just, they get done with the manufacturing process and then they throw some powder coat on it and they ship it. Ours is going to leave the manufacturing facility. It goes through an acid bath to get all impurities cleaned out of it. Then it will go through the e-coat process, which is the same thing the factory does for the frame and most of your body components. Then after e-coat, it will go to the powder coater and it gets a zinc-rich prime.
Thank God, because you get these bumpers off of sites and you get them, and then 6 months, 3 years, whatever it is, the powder coat starts coming off and the rust is coming through. So my understanding is a proper powder coat is all about the preparation of what you're powder coating, not necessarily the powder coat,
correct,
but getting it done right. And I think that's what you're outlining right here. So this is because people will hear powder coat and they'll have these bad issues that they went through. And it's hard to fix a powder coat thing without removing it all.
No, you have to remove it all because powder coat is essentially the easiest analogy I can say is it's a condom. So powder coat is a condom. It's a plastic powder that is melted onto your part, and it creates a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have the proper prep work behind it, like if you don't either sandblast or acid dip your part, there's going to be impurities in the weld that are going to bleed through.
Sure.
So if you don't clean it right, then it's not going to stick. And then we're doing the e-coat process, which it's one more rust prevention step. And I learned this at AEV. When AEV first launched their bumpers back in 2007, the bumpers were dipped and then e-coated and then powder primed and then powder coated. And at some point they lost one or two of those processes, and then we started getting rust. So they brought the processes back. And AEV does the same thing. I cut my teeth there, but everything you get from AEV is usually it's down the same road. It's an OEM-plus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to do the exact same thing, even though it's a very simple bumper. But I went simple for a reason. One, I was going after that nostalgic look. Two, if you look at bumpers for, let's say, your JT, and you look at all of the bumper options out there, most of them are way north of $1,000, right? So I wanted to do just a bomb-proof bumper at an inexpensive, as inexpensive as I could get it.
Well, this is cheaper, I think, than the factory, especially if you go and try to find a Rubicon takeoff steel bumper from Jeep. They're very expensive.
Yep. And this is, it's more simplistic, but it is super heavy duty.
And it holds a winch. So this is, it's functional. And it comes with the winch mount on it, right?
Yeah, it's got an integrated winch plate. It's got integrated tow hooks. It's got the integrated end caps, which are removable. So it's a mid-width and a full-width bumper all in one.
Would you call it a stubby? If you remove the end caps off, would it be considered a stubby, or is it a little longer than that?
It's a little tiny bit longer than a stubby.
But like you could change the look of your Jeep quite easily.
Oh, with in 5 minutes you can go from mid-width or almost stubby to full width in less than 5 minutes. So, and depending, you could run around full width to keep the law happy, and then when you get to the trail, you can unbolt your end caps and have a stubby so your tire touches the front. So it's it's a modular bumper essentially, but yeah, everything's integrated. So you don't have to buy a bumper and then buy a winch plate and then buy light mounts. It's all on the bumper already.
Yeah, good. And it's available for pre-order right now. And I just realized, I didn't realize this, it's for the JK as well. JK, JL, JLU, and JT.
It fits every Jeep Wrangler built from 2007 through current.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, Greg, I apologize for rushing you along, but it's a wonderful conversation. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. I love talking about the products, and I think you're going to do very well with these. First off, I'm sorry, before we get there, do you have something coming up? I know you talked about the door pockets for the JK, but is there something else on the horizon that you mentioned? I mean, you can say, I can't talk about it yet. Even if you don't have something, that will be a good teaser.
Yeah, so we've got, right now, currently on the website for sale is, the JL door pockets. Those are available. If you buy them today, they will ship today, maybe tomorrow. So JL door pockets are ready. JK door pockets are almost on the press. So those are coming. The cup holders should be ready in the next couple weeks. They'll be for sale, but we did have like 80 pre-orders. So we're going to ship out the pre-orders before we take new orders. And then the bumper is available for pre-order, but I would say within the next couple weeks, it will be actually for sale. People can just buy them. We have to figure out packaging, and even with packaging, I didn't want to throw it in just a cardboard box. So we actually have, at the manufacturing facility, they have a wood shop. So they're going to build wood crates for every bumper.
Gosh.
So we're going to do hand built wood crates for every bumper.
Well, that's going to keep the powder coat looking good. So that's great.
Well, and it turns into a little piece of shop art too, right? If you just unhinge the top, because we're gonna they're laser cutting a brand, so we're actually gonna brand the boxes. We're not gonna paint them.
Oh,
we're gonna actually brand the boxes. So that's gonna take a couple extra weeks to get that figured out. But and then the grills for pre-order, the cup holders, the upfitter tie downs, those should be, in the next month. Those will be on the website. And then we are launching apparel in the next week. So we're going to have the hats, the hoodies, the zippies, the shirts will all be available on the website within hopefully the end of next week. And then the next big one that we're going to attack is corner guards. So we're looking at corner guards for JL, a full length corner guard that goes from tailgate all the way to rear door, stamped steel. So instead of origami, where people just cut and break bend it and kind of make it fit, we're actually going to stamp it so it fits flawlessly. We're looking at using Borosteel, which is armor plating, like actual armor plating.
Mm-hmm.
AEV uses it on a lot of their stuff, but an 1/8-inch Borosteel will stop a 45 round all day.
This should be some interesting YouTube videos that you come out with once you get some of these on maybe a donor Jeep, just in case.
I'd shoot the shit out of it just to show it. But it's, but the reason that we would do that, the steel itself costs more, the stamping of it costs more because the tool costs more because you have to use hardened tool steel. You can't, do a cheap tool.
Right.
But the bonus is it will be a flawless fit. They will always fit right on. Like if you color matched them, people wouldn't even know they were on unless they see the hardware. So it distributes the load across the whole thing. It protects your corner. You could add to it, you could add rub rails or whatever you wanted. But the goal is to offer a really high-end part, and following the same realm as everything else, I want to try and keep my price points as low as possible. You look at some of the competitor corner armor out there, and you can spend a couple grand on some aluminum armor, which really doesn't protect anything.
Right.
So I want to come out with something that's actually, structural steel and strong and literally armor, and come out at half the price. I don't know if I'd sell the hell out of them, but hopefully, because I'm going to have to sell a lot to pay for that tool.
Well, it's a different class of people too. It's people that are hardcore, or they want the best. So I think that's going to appeal to those two types of people. And
the goal is if I can make it the best and half the cost, then ha, right? Because I always want the best, but same thing, I want the best deal I can get, and that's why I'm trying to price everything in that regard. Now, I will say, like the JK door pockets, they're going to be the same cost, even though we're putting more into them. They're going to be the exact same cost as the JL, right? So I'm not going to change the price. I'm not going to charge more. They're going to be $150 for a set of 4, and you're done. But yeah, so we're doing all that, and then just to because I know we've talked a lot about this stuff, but what I'm sitting on, just to segue right into it. It's not a segue. It's a Ruckus.
Yeah, the segue's next year.
So as every year as a builder, we get to this point where we're trying to get our car done for SEMA, especially, when it's some big crazy build like these. And you get to a point where the road to SEMA gets fraught with problems. If you've got sponsors, they haven't sent the parts yet. If you're buying parts, they're not on the shelf and you're waiting for them. There's always some kind of hiccup that slows you down and makes you have to fight really hard to get the vehicle done.
Right.
It could be electrical, it could be paint, it could be whatever it is. There's a reason that these big show cars, we see a lot of them at SEMA every year that are missing drive shafts or that don't run or that have these other things. And I've always been very stringent that I will not bring a vehicle to SEMA unless it's 100%. Unless everything is flawless and it will do what it's capable of doing. And this year, I was putting together a Brute, and the goal was to bring it to SEMA because it's a Brute and it's kind of cool. I think it's super cool, but it's still at the paint shop. They're not done. And we're T-minus.
It's been there for weeks too, if I remember right.
It's been there for 2 months.
Yeah.
So it's not done. It's not back to me. We're just barely over a week from when we would have to leave for SEMA. Technically, if he called me right now and said it's done, I could throw it together to get it to SEMA, but it wouldn't be flawless. It wouldn't be test driven. Everything wouldn't be perfect. So last week we were joking one night on the Zoom room with the Jeep Talk show. We were all joking, and I said, I was talking about the road to SEMA and how it's always fraught with problems, and I was like, one of these years it'd be funny to just do something like Dumb and Dumber and hop on some mopeds. And I was joking because this was out in the weeds, right? My kid had left it out in the weeds all summer, so I pulled it inside, And I was like, look, these things are so reliable. It'd be great. And I kicked it 800 times and it wouldn't start because the battery was dead. And somehow that turned into, we were talking, and there's a guy on the show, Roger, who's always around. And he's like, well, if you do it, I'll do it. And then there's another guy, Rich, and he's in Colorado. And he's like, he starts looking for scooters online. He's like, well, if you do it, I'll join you. And I thought about it. I was like, it's a pretty good kind of a jackass thing to do. It's an adventure. It's exciting. People were smiling and laughing. So I was like, screw it, let's do it. And since then it's snowballed. So in the last week, it has really snowballed. I've been working on this one, getting it ready. I put a windshield on and I put some foot pegs. I put my cigarette lighter in my cup holder, and we've ordered some other stuff. We ordered a nicer foam seat and a couple other goodies. Roger bought a Ruckus because he didn't even own one, and it's here, and I've been modifying it. And now there's a couple other people who are looking at picking up Ruckuses this week to leave with us from Michigan. Jay from Steer Smarts was in the Zoom room last night, and he was talking about he wants to do it. So hopefully he finds one and he joins up. And then it snowballed even worse from that. I reached out to some people at SEMA, and I told them, I've got this jackass idea, and we're going to cruise these across the country. And I asked if there was a way that if we can get enough noise, if we can make enough noise and have some fun and do something, adventurous and crazy, and help SEMA, bring awareness to something that SEMA does positive. Because I know that they put disgusting amounts of money into the political side of it, trying to keep the laws open so we can keep modifying our cars. And one of the legal people at SEMA said, we already have donations for that. One of the things that we do, SEMA has a 501c3 group that's called SEMA Cares, and SEMA Cares donates. They take collections from SEMA members and other people, and they donate to like Children's Hospital and leukemia wards and scholarships for kids who want to get into automotive. And they're like, that's what SEMA Cares is all about. And we would rather, if there's a way you can generate some interest for SEMA Cares, that would be better. And that even, as soon as they explained that to me, it solidified what I wanted to do this for. So aside from the adventure and the fun part, if we can raise, I don't care if we raise $5 or if we raise $500,000. If we can raise some money by doing something exciting, and we can donate all that money to help some kids, that there's nothing better than helping your fellow human. So, you get that warm and fuzzy feeling, and to help a kid who's struggling, whether it be with a medical issue or going to school to better themselves or whatever it is, to help that person is I don't know. For me, that's kind of the best warm and fuzzy.
Sure. Having an adventure, having fun, and helping out kids. That's all of it. Right there. That's the whole thing.
So on my website, on unofficialuseonly.com, we've been building a donation platform. So anybody can go on to unofficialuseonly.com. You can find it. It's right at the header, or it's in the product section as well. And you can see the unofficial road to SEMA. You see me sitting on a scooter. There's a couple different pictures. One has a map, but because a lot of people don't realize this thing that I'm sitting on, it's 49 cc's, right? So this can right here is bigger than the whole combustion chamber of this thing. It's 49 cc's. If we can hit 40 or 45 miles an hour, we'll be doing really good. And we're going to cross the country in 4.5 days. So the drive is 2,400 miles, and we're going to do 2,400 miles. We've got the scooters. We're going to try and collect as many other scooters as we can. SEMA has offered, at SEMA, there's multi-million-dollar cars all over the place. SEMA is looking at a space for us. It's probably going to be in the members lounge where they're going to park all the scooters that we end up with. And then the next is we're even going to try and work with, I have an email that I need to call as soon as I get off this show with, a big entity that's an auction house for cars. They might assist with auctioning these off at the end if people are interested to raise more money for SEMA Cares.
I'm just thinking this would be really cool to see a moped wheeled up on Barrett-Jackson for auction. That would be really cool. I'm not saying it's Barrett-Jackson. I'm just saying it'd be cool.
No, yeah, it would be really cool. It is not Barrett-Jackson. But that would be really cool. I mean, Barrett-Jackson or Mecum would be cool, but no. So I've got to reach out to that entity today and find out. I'm willing to auction mine off, and Roger said he's willing to auction his, and if we get other people. But the whole goal is to get as many people as humanly possible watching a couple idiots or a few idiots.
Oh, I think there's going to be more than a couple.
Yeah, cruising across the country on, just idiocy. Mopeds in November, in a very short time frame, and having fun and being exciting. But if we can get a whole bunch of people to watch and a whole bunch of people to tune in to Unofficial Use Only, the Jeep Talk Show, SEMA, any and every entity that's going to be covering us doing this. And donations start at $5, right? Go online, donate $5. Go online.
Unofficialuseonly.com is where you go.
Yep, you can donate $5. You can donate 5,000. It's entirely up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with. And when we get to SEMA, we're going to do we're going to have a big press release. We're going to talk about it, and we'll tally up the amount of money that we have gotten, and 100% of all the proceeds will be donated to SEMA Cares. This is not for profit. I'm not making a penny. I don't want to make a penny. Nobody else is going to make a penny. 100% of the proceeds will go.
You're just going on a crazy adventure, and it's like, hey, we can do something good with this too, which is right. Wonderful. It's just absolutely wonderful. Yep. So this isn't a stunt. I mean, it's a stunt, but it's really more of a stunt to have fun, do something crazy. And I think you're really going to stand out at SEMA with all these multi-million, $100,000 vehicles, and you rolling up on a $2,000, $3,000 moped. It's so cool. It's just a great contrast between the two, and I think it's going to be big for you. All right, Greg. Greg, I really appreciate your time. You gave us so much time today. Great interview. As always, I love talking to you and hearing about all this stuff. I learned so much about the industry, and I've gotten to meet so many people in the industry because of the connection with you. And I really appreciate that. Lots of luck. And we're going to be trying to cover as much as we can because I know we don't know about internet connectivity. We don't know about the time that you will have available while you're on the road, but certainly looking forward to monitoring your progress on this long adventure. And I'll just say briefly, there's been many people on one of our Zoom meetings not trying to talk Greg out of it, but basically asking a series of questions that really could have been shortened to, are you insane? Because they wanted a calculation on time and you're not going to make it, and so on and so forth. There are going to be some chased vehicles. So if you're worried about Greg and Roger, maybe not so much Roger. If you're worried about Greg, there will be chase vehicles out there. There'll be people helping, and you might actually be able to meet up as they're going by. Maybe join the ride for 10 minutes, and it would be just really cool. A great social media time to get out there, take some pictures.
Anybody that wants to join up, we will be posting where we're at live. So, as we're live, showing where we're at and talking about what we're doing, because, the goal is to put as many hard miles down as humanly possible. But, every time I drive to SEMA or every time I drive across the country, there's always these little landmarks that are right off the highway that you're always like, oh, it'd be cool to stop there. Well, we're going to be doing like 30 miles an hour, so it's not hard to stop.
You're almost stopped already. When you're doing 30 miles an hour, you're almost stopped already.
So even if it's just 2 minutes, right? If we stop for 2 minutes and we're like, hey, we're here, look at the giant ball of whatever.
Yeah.
You'll be able to follow along as long as you're watching all the live content as we're posting it. And if you've got a scooter or a moped or a dirt bike or a skateboard and you want to cruise along with us for a little bit, join in the fun. I don't know. I'm going to have a couple saddlebags, and we will take cash donations when we're going, but cash donations are going to be a little trickier because we don't have a lot of carry space. So I'd much rather them just go on the website with your smartphone, make a small donation. I know that, people use their credit card, so we lose a couple percent, but who cares, right? It's a couple percent on $5 or $500 it's not the end of the world.
Make the donation bigger if you're using your credit card. I'll just say that because we don't want the credit card fees eating up the majority. I know PayPal was like that. I mean, I tried to sell a sticker for $2 online. I owed PayPal money every time that happened. So yeah, so just make it. I mean, it's a good cause. Greg, thanks a lot. Yeah. We'll remind everybody, unofficialuseonly.com, on Instagram, unofficial use only, and just follow along here on the Jeep Talk Show for more information on where you can follow this trek across the country live. Greg, thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Have a good day. Thank you, everybody. And don't forget, like, comment, share, and subscribe to everything the Jeep Talk Show puts out, whether it's on, all the social media platforms. And I would love it if you bumped over to Unofficial Use Only on all the platforms and gave me a follow. That would be amazing. But definitely stay tuned to the Jeep Talk Show for anything and everything Jeep related and idiocy like this. And just enjoy this culture. That's the best part about this culture is we're all friends and family.
Great. Thanks again, Greg.
No worries. Have a good one.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.